What a smorgasbord of topics. My deepest gratitude to Paul for letting me take a whack at opposing each of these different views. These 7 questions are the 7 questions. This is what all of philosophy and science seek to answer. So he wants to start with why we're here, just the main question that has puzzled everyone who has ever lived for all time. But he has his answer. It is from the Bible. And what does it state? Well, he lists a few things that aren't exactly clear of our purpose. For instance, he starts by saying that we are made in the image of God. Okay, but we're not really like God at all. In fact, the Christian often says we can't comprehend of God. So I'm not sure what we're supposed to glean from that, but he does go into that we were given dominion over the world, over the earth, over the animals, that we're here to love God and love each other, which is a really nice way of saying it. But we see all throughout the text that our main purpose in being here is simply to glorify God, regardless of how that looks, regardless of any suffering, regardless of how we treat this planet or the animals, the things that supposedly we're supposed to be good stewards of. The strangest part of this to me is we don't really have to fulfill the purpose that Chaffey has listed for us here from the Bible. We can treat our neighbors horribly. We can treat this planet terribly. But so long as we believe the right thing at the right time before we die, we will be with God in heaven. We will be saved. So I understand that the believer likes to say they have meaning, unlike the atheist. But it seems to me like the higher value to the believer is knowing where they're going to go when they die. And anything else that may or may not happen in between is just gravy. Jesus told us exactly how we should be living if we want to live according to his purpose, if we want to be his disciple, if we want to show that we love him, right? That's the main thing that Chaffey says. We're here to love God. Well, Jesus says to love me is to obey my commands, and then he goes on and lists many, many, many commands that Christians don't seem all too concerned with following. And all of this just to avoid what? I don't know, right? That's the secular answer. If we're being honest, the people that he brings up here, he brings up both Sherman and Coyne, essentially say, yeah, maybe there isn't meaning. We don't know. We don't have an answer for that. And I'm agnostic enough to say that maybe there is a creator. I don't think it's Yahweh. I don't think it's a God that's interacting with us. I don't think that it has revealed a clear purpose. So in lieu of all of that, I'm fine just saying I don't know. And by the way, spoiler alert, I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer and one that we will be using throughout the rest of these questions. But to quickly address the secular side of the worldview that he mentions here, he's really upset that Coyne is saying, hey, we live in a purposeless universe, but that does not mean that our lives are not purposeless. He seems to think that that's some kind of mutually exclusive claim or at least a paradox. I don't see why it is, and I share this same exact notion, so I'll double down on it. We are alive. We are conscious of this existence. We don't know, no one knows, no matter what anyone says or any book claims, what happens next. We know that we have somewhere between minutes to decades left here. Why wouldn't we want to take that finite time and create beauty, create memories, create connections, create love, create families, create friendships, create careers, create endeavors, create adventure? How is that not meaningful? How is that not an acceptable answer for why we're here? And if your answer is that there's people in the world who don't have the luxury of being able to do those things, all the more reason then why we should be caring about those things, to create a world that is available for those options for everyone that exists within it, instead of forsaking our stewardship over this world and being glad that we get to go to heaven at the end of it. And don't Christians also make their own meaning anyways? Even if there is some objective sense of meaning that they're supposed to have for glorifying God, don't they still create their families, their careers, their hobbies and interests? It's clear that we're subjective creatures that understand this world differently at different times and endeavor to take that time and utilize it in many different fashions. I'm not even hearing an objection here from Chaffey. He's just saying, well, you can't ground it in something like God, therefore it's useless. That's simply wrong.